The Discovery, Chapter 4, A Royal Greeting. David's sleeping form was released from the many hooves holding for all of their worth, and he slumped to the ground before being rolled over onto his stomach. The slow rise and fall of his back was the only sign that he was still alive at all. Midnight took a few steps back, relieved that the spell had worked, and her former patient was very much not dead. He was quickly encompassed in a golden aura and lifted into the air. Midnight turned to see the wounded Pegasus lieutenant walking straight towards her.
How long will he be out for?
Lieutenant Duster asked, his voice slightly nasally from his hoof covering his still bleeding nose.
I don't know. That spell was powerful enough to knock out a fully grown stallion for 6 hours, but then again, I gave him enough morphine to keep a fully grown marrow for half a day, and he woke up in about 3 hours.
Beb, I'm sorry to do this, but I need you to come with us. This creature is going straight to the hospital, then to the princess, and you're going to have to explain your actions as well. Especially the makeshift hospital room and all of the morphine. If we have to arrest you, we will.
Midnight sighed. She knew that this would be the consequences of her actions.
Damn it, I really don't want to go to jail. I understand. I'll go with you. Just let me stay near the alien. I'll make sure that he won't start fighting you guys again if he wakes up, but first I need to check his wounds. He almost died in the crash and he's bleeding badly again.
Lieutenant Duster nodded at her and walked over to assess the rest of his fallen comrades.
If this thing was that badly wounded and still did this much damage, I'd hate to find out what it's capable of at full strength.
6 of the Royal Guard's ponies were either unconscious or bruised after the fight. The worst case suffered a broken nose and a mild concussion. Every pony was on edge and kept a fair bit of space between themselves and the creature, save for Midnight. The thought of thousands of its kind invading and taking over Equestria plagued the ponies' minds as they carried the creature back towards Candelot proper. Midnight's checks and quick readjustment of the bandages adorning David's limbs had done little to stop the now steadying flow of blood. As they moved, the fallen human's injuries left a trail of crimson liquid behind.
Lieutenant, we need to get the alien to a hospital now. He's lost so much blood already, and at this rate he won't make it.
Midnight spoke as she checked David's bandages yet again.
Ma'am, we're going as fast as we can, but we still have wounded of our own. Plus, you know as well as I do that teleporting an unknown creature could easily kill it.
Lieutenant Duster replied. Midnight sighed. She knew that he was right, and the unicorns among the Royal Guards were trained in offensive and defensive magic. While teleportation could be considered a viable tool for both, it was such a high-level spell that very few of the guards, save for Celestia's personal bodyguards, could perform it. So the option of having a guard teleport to the nearest hospital and back with some medical supplies was simply not feasible at the moment, especially since the only guard in the group that had that ability was still unconscious. Midnight racked her brain for some options that would help. There were several Pegasi guards present, but 3 of them had injuries due to the fight, and if the alien woke up mid-flight, well, she didn't want to think about what could happen. The only option was to press forward as fast as possible and hope that the already demonstratively durable creature could only hold out for another half hour at least. It was another lazy day at Canterlot Memorial Hospital. With hardly any crime in the city due to the heavy guard presence all hours of the day, ponies were very rarely admitted for injuries and other emergency situations. There was the occasional broken leg or wing from a young pony playing when he or she shouldn't, so the emergency room was very rarely used for serious injuries. It was a good thing too. David would need that open spot. A royal guard bucked the doors open and 4 unicorns trotted in, levitating the unconscious human into the room. Midnight was right on their hooves, calling for a doctor. The hospital staff were quick to react, rushing out a gurney, and several nurses stopped their conversations to assist in whatever way that they could. Surgeons scrambled and the ER was prepared in a matter of minutes, but this of course did not prepare the medical team for what was wheeled into the room shortly thereafter. Several gasps and audible confusion filled the room as the strange otherworlder was brought to the surgical table. One surgeon did a double take and the rest of the room seemed to share in his confusion at the sight in front of them. Midnight had forced her way into the room as they began removing David's tattered clothing, ready to remove whatever answers that she knew. Several surgeons were occupied with studying David's anatomy, trying desperately to figure out where to hook up their machines.
If you're looking for a vein or artery, its arms have large veins running down the length. Also, don't give it morphine, it's had enough already.
Midnight announced. All eyes turned to the graphite mare. Several surgeons stared irritably at her, while others were simply confused by her even being in the room. After several tense seconds, Midnight finally got a response.
Ma'am, what are you doing here? This is for medical professionals only.
The head surgeon stated as the rest of the team began hooking David to a heart monitor. A slow beeping sound filled the room as David's low pulse appeared on the monitor. Donning a mask and a pair of scrubs herself, Midnight responded.
My name is Midnight Shadow. I saved this creature's life last night and the Royal Guard found it, attacked it, and now it's here. I'm here to help you save its life again with what I know from my work.
Are you a doctor?
I was a medic for almost 3 years. I'm not a doctor, but right now I'm the closest thing to an expert on the species that you've got.
The head surgeon sighed and paused for a moment.
Alright, tell us what you know.
The door swiveled shut and the medical team began working on the strange creature. As it was, it had lost over 2 liters of blood. It would take a miracle to save its life now. 1 miracle later, David awoke to the sound of harsh yet steady beeping. Struggling to open his eyes, he rolled over as much as his body would allow, finding his arm attached to something, preventing him from rolling onto his side. He groaned as he forced his groggy eyes to open, immediately regretting his decision. The bright white light above him was absolutely blinding. Squinting, he turned his tired head to the side as he struggled to see through his blurry vision.
So much white. Where the hell am I? Was it all just a dream?
His vision finally focused enough for him to see the hospital bed that he was laying in. He could see the many wires attached from the nearby machines to his body, and the handcuffs. Testing for flaws in his vision, he tried moving his arm away from the bed rail.
That's not a good sound.
The sound of metal on metal filled the room for a split second, followed by the rhythmic beating of the heart monitor.
Yep, definitely handcuffs. Or would they be hoof cuffs?
David groaned loudly.
Beaten and captured by 3.5-foot-tall horses. How is this not a dream?
Probably because you're still here. You sure are tough, though. I'm glad you're awake.
A feminine voice came from David's left. In his groggy state, he had neglected to even look at the entire left side of the room. Quickly turning his head, he found the source of the voice to be none other than the graphite unicorn from the house that he woke up in earlier. She seemed to lean back just a tad as David's eyes fell on her, as if she was still somewhat scared of him. But she quickly righted herself, any sign of fear fading almost as fast as it appeared.
What are you?
David asked in disbelief.
Well, I could ask you the same question, but since you asked first, I'm a unicorn pony. My name is Midnight Shadow. I'm the one who saved your life. Twice now, but who's counting?
As she spoke, her tone changed from that of a professional conversationalist to more of a tomboyish, friendly tone.
Anyways, now that you know my name, what's yours?
David Lawson,
he said with wide eyes.
Well, despite the circumstances, it's very nice to meet you, David.
She said, with her best attempt at a happy smile. David was dumbfounded. Here he was in a hospital room that seemed to be no different from any hospital room back on Earth. The heart monitor sounded the same as the ones back on Earth, the bed felt somewhat small like a hospital bed, and even the room looks like an average hospital room. So why in the hell was there a talking unicorn sitting next to him?
Okay, seriously, what the fuck? This has to be a dream. Is any of what happened in recent memory real? Is this some just weird cryosleep shit?
David was torn from his thoughts when another pony opened the door.
Ma'am, is he awake?
The new pony asked.
He sure is. Only took him 20 hours to wake up.
Midnight responded. David's eyes fell on the Pegasus guards pony that had chased him so relentlessly the day before. He aggressively shuffled back into the bed as the pony approached.
Oh, no, you get the fuck away from me!
David shouted, pointing a finger at the Pegasus.
Relax, I'm not gonna hurt you. We just need your cooperation so that we can get you to the princesses.
The guard's pony replied calmly.
Yeah, you said that yesterday too, right before your goon tried to take me out from the side!
David countered.
Sergeant Stone was only trying to get into position in case you attacked, which you did.
The Pegasus retorted.
Well, yeah, my back was against the cliff. What the hell was I supposed to do, take your word for it? I don't trust you as far as I could throw you!
David angrily shouted back.
David, please, calm down. No pony wants to hurt you, I swear. What happened yesterday was a serious misunderstanding and not how we as a species wanted first contact to go. But if you'll just give us another chance, I promise that we won't waste it.
Midnight said, hopping off of the chair and walking towards David's bed. David's brow scrunched up as he thought about Midnight's words. He slowly looked to his right hand, still cuffed to the bed railing. After several tense seconds, he sighed and spoke.
Fine, it's not like I have much of a choice,
he said, agitation still present in his voice.
Thank you. I know you're confused, and if there are any questions that you have, I'd like to answer as many as I can now.
Midnight said, a friendly smile reappearing on her face.
Okay, first off, who the hell is he?
David said, pointing at the Pegasus guard's pony.
Second, how are you both speaking English? Third, I've been out for 20 hours. And fourth, what the hell is going on?
David asked, struggling to take in the world around him.
My name is Lieutenant Duster. I'm an officer in the Canterlot Royal Guard. As for how we're speaking the same language, I have no idea. It took several hours for the doctors to fix you up, and after surgery, they put you in a medically induced coma for 18 hours to recover. The rest of the time was just us waiting for you to wake up naturally. And to answer your last question, we're just about as lost as you are,
came Lieutenant Duster's response. David took a few seconds to take in Lieutenant Duster's words before speaking again.
You all seem way too casual right now for some ponies trying to kill me yesterday. Did you harvest my organs or something?
David quickly patted himself down with his free hand, feeling for any stitches near his kidneys.
No, we didn't. We weren't trying to kill you either. We did have to take you down, though. You weren't responding to verbal communication at the time, and you put up quite a fight,
Lieutenant Duster said, slightly amused at the alien patting himself down on the bed.
Yeah, well, one of your guys tried to impale me with a sword, then the rest of you almost chased me off of a cliff. How exactly is that not trying to kill me? We are very sorry about that. As Sergeant Stone described it, you were hunched over Miss Shadow over here, and he thought that you were trying to harm her in some way. I hope that you can understand that from his perspective, the situation looked very hostile. He has expressed his regret for just jumping into action like that in hopes that you'll understand. He'll be reprimanded later as he's in a hospital bed like yours at the moment. Once we learned that you could speak, we tried to detain you without resorting to lethal means. You made that tough on us. Well, I was trying not to die. I don't care what you say. For all I knew, you were trying to kill me. Besides, I wasn't trying to hurt her. She ran into the wall, and I was trying to make sure that she didn't hurt herself.
Oh, compassion for another species. That will most definitely be going into the report.
Midnight chimed in.
Report? What report?
David asked, suddenly even more confused.
The report that I'll be taking to the princess along with you.
Midnight replied.
Wait, what princess? You guys keep talking about this princess, but I have no idea who the hell she is.
David asked, his world only seeming to get stranger and stranger by the moment.
Princess Alessia. Don't worry, you'll meet her in a little bit. She's one of the kindest ponies in all of Equestria. She loves every pony, and she'll definitely take a liking to you once you show her that you're not some pony-eating monster. Plus, thanks to advanced magical therapy and medicine, your injuries are mostly healed already, so we can see her today. The only thing is that your left leg will be sore for a little while.
David pulled the sheets up and looked down at his body, stunned by Midnight's words. True enough, the horrible burns on his right leg were nearly fully healed, a small scar running up his leg being the only reminder of the charred skin residing there only a day before. He touched his free hand to his head and felt nothing but smooth skin and short hair.
Well, shit, that's pretty awesome,
David said, perking up slightly at the prospect of not having a giant ugly scar covering the front of his leg.
I'm glad that you're okay. You were pretty rough around the edges when I found you, and even worse off after your fight with the guard.
Midnight spoke, a hint of sadness in her voice.
We'll have to give you an armed escort, but if you give me your word that you won't try to run off or try anything aggressive, I'll take those hoof cuffs off you. If you do anyways, well, we might have to take you there in a cage,
Lieutenant Duster warned.
Oh, so they are hoof cuffs. Wait, a cage? Okay, that seems excessive. Fine, I won't try anything. It's not like I'd be able to get away anyways. Very good. Now, let's get you to the princesses. Can I at least get some clothes first?
Man, what a reward. You nearly get beaten to death, and then next thing you know, you get to meet a princess. Then again, it's debatable whether or not that's a good or bad trade-off. Anywho, let's get on to our resilient donators. Top donators are 630, J10 Man, Darkside, Only One Thing, Dash of Evergreen, and Ceru Orion. Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rollins, Stu Hex, Sword Brother and Morted, Omicron Lyre, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Hadzaza, Riot Soul, Iron Sky, Badass Waffle, and many more tough people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.